It is a Monday morning edition of TexAgs Rewind, brought to you by T-Mobile, that says, hey, visit T-Mobile.com. They're a proud sponsor of this show. And go to T-Mobile.com/across America to learn more about how you can get value and coverage with our good friends there at T-Mobile. And good show today. Obviously, Billy Lucci stopped by studio, as he does on every Monday. We talked about all things from the coaching changes to the Wake Forest Bowl game there at the Gator Bowl. Going to be fun times there with Billy. How about the Florida bound? Yeah, OB had his thoughts on that one too. That's really the topic of the show, without a doubt. And SEC Network's Tom Hart gives us his thoughts on the way the playoffs all broke down, and also the A&M matchup with the bowl game, and LSU's coach whisperer, that would be Peter Burns. We had all that and more here on TexAgs Rewind, presented by T-Mobile.
Yeah, good morning. I think of the Gator Bowl as kind of like a sirloin steak. You know?
It's fine.
It's fine.
Whatever.
You know, it's not bad, but, you know, you'd much rather have the porterhouse or the T-bone or the ribeye or the strip.
Yeah,
filet.
Luch and I went through it a little bit yesterday on the Luchador podcast. He'll join us again, and there's reasons to be disappointed if you're an Aggie fan beyond the record of why you're set where you're set. But for what you can control, you're there because you went 8-4 and you lost a couple games you shouldn't have lost.
Yeah, I would debate Luch with that, because I don't see there's any reason to feel like you got slighted or anything like that at all. Now,
maybe not slighted, but maybe not the bump up that other teams have gotten in years past.
Well, see, I will agree that I guess it was 4 years ago, when A&M went to the Gator Bowl, and Kentucky went to the Citrus Bowl, I think it was.
Yep.
And you had beaten Kentucky, and you were like at that time 8-4, and Kentucky was 9-3. But you've got to acknowledge that going 8-4, you get the same team that can go 8-4 in the SEC would probably go in the SEC West,
right?
9-3 to 10-2 in the East.
100%.
You know, in just about any other division, probably any other division would save the Big Ten East.
Yeah.
8-4 is 10-2 or better. I mean, A&M goes undefeated with Cincinnati's schedule, if you ask me. So I can understand that, but to be 8-4 and to lose your last two conference games, I think that's one of those, take your medicine and understand that, that if you'd won a game, you'd have won another game, you'd had a better bowl. It's on yourself.
You'd be Citrus or Outback, for sure.
And maybe even a New Year's Six, the way things started working out.
Yeah, sure. Here are some of the positives, and here are some of the negatives. Positives, it's Florida. I'm sorry, but I would much rather, and I'm not saying for social reasons, I'm saying there's a little bit more prestige in Florida bowls, I believe. The perception of playing in a Florida bowl as opposed to playing in what is it, the Belk Bowl?
Yeah, well, it's now it's the Mayo Bowl.
Right.
I don't want to be a bowl that's synonymous with mayonnaise.
I find it funny. The OU fan base is an interesting animal. Now, if you say anything about them, they come at you like it's the largest collection of tough fingers in the world. They must have the strongest set of fingers for a fan base per capita in the world with how much they talk on Twitter. They get very aggressive. They get very defensive. Tough guy fan base for sure. I don't know if it's that the wrestling culture up there, but really tough guy fan base. But it's funny to me. Texas as well. Like I talked about that triangle of Brian Kelly, Steve Sarkisian, and Brent Venables. But at least Brian Kelly, you look at what he's done. It's really impressive. I'm watching Texas and OU fans argue over who won more national titles as an assistant coach. And I think Brent Venables is a lot more of a reason why Clemson won them than Sarkisian was.
Sure.
And look at Bama now. They're on the brink of another one with freaking B.O.B. And they still might win one. So, but I'm watching them argue over that, and I'm going, you morons, both fan bases, ridiculed A&M for hiring Jimbo Fisher. Well, it was for the money. It was because of the money. Well, it was because there was guaranteed money. Or, well, it was because 4 years in, he's done this. Get back to me at 4 years in on both of these Nimrods, okay? Because you had to settle in each instance. And those OU fans can sit back and act like they've got their guy. We had to hear it all about Sarkisian. What Texas is doing right now is they are just flat out begging. They're putting out releases on NIL money. They're teasing it, doing one where they're going to announce a big NIL deal for offensive linemen. They're just so desperate that before signing day, you just see it. They are begging for Quinn Ewers to pick them over Tech and TCU. After A&M said thanks, but no thanks. They are begging. Then you've got another contingent that's saying, guys, we've got an incredible quarterback in Malik Murphy. We don't need – it has been sad to watch. They are convincing themselves that Sarkisian is a guy they know he's not. Then you look at OU, and they're going even above and beyond that because they're flexing, including their former players, as if this guy – this is the dude. This is Bob Stoops part 2. You're bringing the defensive coordinator back to Norman. I just don't love David. I wouldn't feel great about Texas A&M going out and, if you had the same AD that you had 20-something years ago, and he's getting a band back together, and the fact that he's going back to the prodigal son come home that played such a big role in their glory days. And the dude has never coached a college football game. I to be honest, in coaching circles, I haven't heard the best stuff about him. Just as far as I don't know how he's going to – it's kind of got like a Tom Herman vibe to it. Like, how's he going to handle – where's that temper? How's he going to handle the criticism? Is he, Joey snapback to the media? How's all that going to go? It's all smiles and fun now. I don't care what anybody says. And you can give me all these BS. I know how these jobs go. I want to know the job that actually he could have taken and passed. They're saying he passed up Auburn. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if he actually – I'd love to see which job he had, because to sit there at Clemson, like Mike Elko's turned down Temple and Kansas. When the right job comes around, it'll be very hard to keep him, just like with Kirby Smart, just like all these great assistant coaches along the way. But in the case of Venables, like, Cliff Kingsbury went to Tech after 1 year here. These coaches, coordinators leave for quality head jobs. I just wonder how many quality head jobs he's been offered along the way. I really do. And OU, look, no matter what they say up there in Norman, if they had their druthers, Lincoln Riley would have never left. They thought he was the guy. They were fully convinced of it. Now, all of a sudden, all these things are coming out about Lincoln, and they're really happy to hire a guy that's never been a head coach in a college football game. They're really excited about that.
Okay.
I am too, to be honest.
And
they'll do a recruiting bump. I mean, they're not going to go up, but there'll be certain guys that were either on the field. You'll see all the guys saying, I'm going back all in. You'll see some guys maybe come back in out of the portal, maybe. Yep. And if he gets Jeff Lebby, that'll be a hell of a hire. But I still subscribe to great head coaches are great head coaches, and guys with question marks and reason that he hadn't been at another job. That's to me, that's a question mark that nobody up there wants to ask or even acknowledge now at this point, because he's their guy. And by God, they were at the airport last night, which was cool to see, by the way. I like that. But to me, like those guys, there's assistant coaches that can break through. But, David, they're usually the up-and-comers. They're not the guys that have been at OU and Clemson for like a combined 20-something years, and they're finally getting their shot. There's a reason he hadn't gotten that shot yet.
We got about a minute, but I'll let you respond. Breaking news, Pete Thamel, or Thamel, as I like to call him, says Manny Diaz has been fired.
Okay. Good work, Pete. You also said, basically bang the drum that Jimbo was going over there the whole time. Good.
Completely different. Now, full disclosure, every time I was asked about the game leading up to it, they said, what kind of chances Alabama have? And I said, yeah, I mean, maybe if they hit a couple deep balls, because that is Georgia's weakness. But I didn't expect them to have that kind of success that they did through the air. I mean, Georgia got punched in the mouth. Georgia backed off. I was really surprised with some of the defensive pressure that they brought, that they didn't bring. It's like a no-win situation working against Bryce Young. I'm trying to pull up the numbers. I had them right in front of me here on my computer, and it kind of disappeared here. But Bryce Young, 421 passing yards, most in SEC championship game history, third most allowed in a game by Georgia. He was so good deep. Here was Bryce Young was 10 of 17 on balls 10 yards or further downfield, averaging 28 yards of completion. Every one of his touchdown passes came on something 10 yards downfield or more. Jameson Williams was just amazing, 121 yards after the catch. He got the ball in the middle of the defense. He got it in spaces where he could run. He got it going down the sideline. And going into the season, that was Georgia's weakness. They needed to find somebody, going back to the spring game and talking to Kirby about it, like they went to the transfer portal to try and shore up their defensive backfield. They thought they had some guys, and they were fine playing the schedule that they played during the season. Remember, they had a pretty soft SEC schedule, relatively speaking, and then Bryce Young just carved them up. I was at the game. It was especially for the Georgia fans that were the majority of the fans in there. It was just shock. They were blown away. And as a team that's kind of tripped over their own feet a couple of times, you could sense that setting in for Georgia fans. Like, here we go again.
Well, it is funny when you go back and look, go back and look at grading, like coaching carousel hires, like go online and go look at like 2014 or 2016. And to go read some of these things are hilarious because hell, we don't really know. To me, it's the only no-brainer that I saw was Lincoln Riley going to USC.
Yeah.
That to me, and I don't think it's just a no-brainer for USC. I think it's a no-brainer for the Pac-12 and really college football as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm intrigued. Like, never once did I think when Clay Helton was the head coach at Southern Cal that I think I got to watch them or I'm curious of what Southern Cal is going to do, right?
True.
Like, I don't even know if I could pick out Clay Helton in a lineup right now. But I damn sure know who Lincoln Riley is. I know what he brings. And, to me, I think it starts with that. And I think Brian Kelly's going to have a tough time, but I like the hire. I think Billy Napier is going to have a tough time, but I like the hire.
Okay.
So, again, no one knows because it's chaos and it's college football, and that's why I love it.
Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll have a lot more throughout the week and, of course, the upcoming weeks here on TexAgs. And we want to remind you to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Again, thank you for watching.